learning 3D design. I'm in Applied Arts.
I'm learning identity design. I'm in applied arts.
I'm learning printmaking. I'm in fine arts.
I am learning typography. I am in applied arts.
I am learning portrait. I'm in fine arts.
I'm learning UI UX. I'm in applied arts.
I'm learning photography. I'm in applied arts.
Good evening, all the participants and panel members, Smita Raje Deshpande and Manisha Khanna. So I welcome you on this unique platform of MIT School of Fine Arts and Applied Arts, MIT Art Design and Technology University. Today we are here to discuss about art therapy. This is the new course we are launching from the year 2020, 21-22, and this is a unique course because this is the first time that any Indian university has started this course at post-graduation level. And we take this opportunity to have a collaboration with American Art Therapy Association, Dr. Penny Orr and her team, who have helped us to launch this program at post-graduation level at MIT Art Design and Technology University. So today we have Smita Raje Deshpande and Manisha Khanna, who both are expert in this field and also would be working as a faculty and guiding our students as a expert faculty during the course. So we will start this informal discussion session so that all the doubts about art therapy will be cleared, and we will also come to know about the opportunity and future prospects of this course, why it is important and why it is necessary for one who is interested in art and therapeutic and understand art therapy for healing one's problem, maybe mental problem or so. So without wasting any time, I welcome all the panel members and I hand over this discussion to Smita Raje ma'am. Ma'am, please.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you, Milind, sir. So I would like to profusely thank Milind, sir, for initiating this program and really believing in this, the potential of this program, and taking this very positively forward for MIT University. So I'm very glad that MFA in art therapy is going to begin this September, and so yeah, so a little bit about art therapy. So if you must be wondering what art therapy is, so art therapy is basically where your the unconscious that is there hidden or buried inside you is expressed through the use of art, by using all the art as a therapeutic tool. So it is, if you want to compare it with, it is like the heart attack thing. When do you get heart attack? When your veins are blocked. So here, when your memories are blocked, or when you bury your memories, good, bad, consciously, unconsciously, they are buried in your body, and they are all over your body, because memories reside in amino acids, and amino acids are all over your body. So they are not in your head, they are not in your mind, they are not in your head, but they are all over. So wherever you have, really you don't let them come out, there the ailment starts, there the pain starts. So here is a way in which unknowingly you express, you pour out everything that you want to, which you are not even aware of, that this so much was hidden inside you. Good, bad, everything comes out, and you start feeling good, and there you are on the way of well-being. So this is what the magic of art therapy is, and this is where a trained practitioner comes in the picture. And here is where the training in art therapy is so necessary. So I've just given you a brief introduction about what art therapy is, and I'll now hand it over to Manisha Khanna. Then we can take over all your questions and we can talk more about art therapy. And at the end, me and Manisha, we are also going to take small workshops
Oh,
on Enzo Circle. I'll be taking Enzo Circles, and Manisha will be doing Safe Place. So very interesting things. So don't go away. Please be with us. Yes, over to you, Manisha.
great.
Thank you, Smita. So, Smita has given you a brief about what is art therapy. And if I may just elaborate it, that art therapy is a non-verbal therapy used to express oneself, adapting to the creative process of making art with different art mediums. So generally, I relate it, like, I generally call art therapy the vacuum cleaner of the mind. Like Smita gave you a kind of a metaphor. For me, the metaphor is like the vacuum cleaner of the mind. Over a period of time, with certain experiences of life, you tend to accumulate certain emotions. It impacts your self-esteem, it impacts your confidence. Then you have anger within you. You don't even realize that from where have you contracted that anger, but it's there in your subconscious mind. So art therapy helps to bring those emotions to the conscious mind and then onto the paper. So it's a great way of unleashing and evacuating yourself of all these negative emotions. So a brief about our program, that MFA Art Therapy program by MIT School of Fine Arts and Applied Arts. It's the first one, means MIT is the pioneer in launching it. And we have been working very hard that we should have such a program in India. In my own personal experience, I started my art therapy training with a degree program overseas, but switched to an Indian diploma program. The reason being, I was missing the cultural relevance. And that's why we have been working since many years to launch a program, and I'm so happy that we have it here. So, art therapy is a mental health and human service profession that developed in the mid 20th century. Art therapists are credentialized master's level psychotherapists who assist patients in utilizing their creative strengths to effectively navigate their cognitive disposition. The healing process in art therapy intertwines the disciplines of art and psychology in a safe, non judgmental space, resulting in a simultaneously non-verbal and therapeutic form of expression. So here I would like to highlight the words safe and non-judgmental space. Unless you are a trained art therapist, you won't come to know how to use it for people, because that training is very, very important, how to make the person comfortable. And in my slideshow, in my presentation, I'll be discussing about it a bit more. So the course led by art therapists and art therapy educators will consist of modules such as the therapeutic uses of art psychotherapy, and expressive arts therapy. The MFA Art Therapy program aims to facilitate the knowledge of art and psychological functioning at individual and social levels in an inclusive manner. So here I would like to highlight the word inclusive manner. Uh, Because overseas programs have very stringent criteria. So here we are making it bit of a relaxed criteria because it's the first time in India, and that's what our focus is like. We should have trained art therapists in India, and it is at par with the global world. So this program comprises an overview of multiple psychological theories, including those on the physiological and spiritual benefits of art. India can't go without spirituality, so here we are including the spiritual benefits of art. Courses will be designed to integrate cultural relevance and an awareness of contemporary societal concerns. Students will learn to apply therapeutic applications of art to provide professional help to those with a wide range of mental ailments, such as individuals with ADHD, autism, neurodevelopmental disabilities, depression, or PTSD, in addition to aiding people with physical or age related stressors. Students will explore an intersection of neuroscience, mindfulness, individual collective art therapy, research and awareness, socio-cultural issues. They will be provided with multiple internship opportunities involving practical training. The course aims to empower students to make significant contributions towards the overall well-being of individuals belonging to a myriad of social groups. This program will meet international standards for art therapy. Total credits will be 81. Career prospects include being a counselor, therapist, life coach, speaker, teacher, or other professional life coach. The teaching model is online with hands-on practice sessions also for practical research. So we have 4 semesters stretched over 2 years, and each semester there'll be a hands-on practice sessions which will be about 2 weeks, a total of 5 days, excluding the holidays, and there we'll be doing the practical work. So the online sessions are, we have our faculty is mainly from the US, the art therapists from the US, they'll be conducting, and me and Smita will be assisting for this program, mainly for the hands-on practice sessions.
So here I would like to add, Gayatri, can I just take this right now? So here we would like to add that along, Gayatri, can you just mute your mic, please?
Yes, I have just muted.
Yes. So here I would like to add that along with art therapy, psychology and art will also be included in your curriculum. So you will have to do studio work, you will have to do painting, you will also have, you will be learning psychology. So all in one, this is one of a kind of a course where these things are not like either it's only art therapy and psychology and MFA, because it is MFA in art therapy, your painting, your sculpture, and your design subjects would also be there. So all will be taken care of, where you will not have to worry about, oh, I've not done art, now what do I do? So everything will be taken care of. That was one thing. Yeah.
We have some additional courses also which you can take it at MIT University to get the relevant credits. So that provision is very much there.
Right.
So if like you have the fine arts degree and you want to take on some psychology credits, so that is also like you can take it additionally.
Right. Right. So any graduate who's done graduation maybe in BCom and he's not done psychology, or that person has not done art, doesn't matter. That person can still apply.
Yeah. I think we have received few inquiries from candidates. They said that, sir, we have done our graduation plain graduation BA or BCom, and have little bit inclination towards art, but have not studied art at all, but would like to study art and do some practice in art. Is it possible for them, those who have not having art as their subject in their graduation?
So, Manisha, would you like to take this?
Yeah, I can. So yes, indeed, because art therapy, see, when I'll show you the presentation, that's also the most important part is the difference between art and art therapy is we do not focus on the end product. So it is the process. And you don't need to be an artist or a graduate of even arts degree to pursue this program, because you will be given the training at the same time when you are doing the program. So you
Okay.
don't have to be really good in art. It's not there. It's a combination of arts and psychology. That
Yes.
combination is we are focusing more on the process.
Yes. So it is the process oriented thing. The end product is not important, as Manisha has said. And here we are not here to make you Van Goghs or Picassos. We are here to make you learn how to use art as a therapeutic tool.
Correct, correct.
But it they
Right?
tend to become no harm.
But
Right.
Maybe
in
they
this,
just find out the artist within them.
yes,
They
yes,
will,
absolutely,
and
absolutely.
yes, and we believe that every person is creative from
Create.
inside. Only the creativity is dormant sometimes.
Correct, correct. So that means it is going to help a student who is not artist can become an artist and can
Yes,
explore his
yes,
art from within, and of course
yes,
he can apply that kind of art with the help of psychology and overall learning of art therapy to its, I mean, in its practice whenever
right,
he'll get graduated, right?
right, right.
Yes. And
So
psychology is a major subject, I hope, in this overall process of learning art therapy, is it?
yes, yes. So because what, as a therapist, you have to know what the psychology of that person is and what is that art trying to tell you. So that
Okay.
interpretation where the facilitator comes in picture, there this psychology comes in hand, and there you have to have the knowledge of psychology to know what the art is trying to tell you, what the person has been going through, and why. Like one time you can give a person one activity and that person does a certain thing, and the next time you give the same activity and the same person does something different. So
Okay.
why has that happened? That psychological background, if it is there with you, you are a better facilitator. So that is very important. The psychology behind all the whole thing.
And I think in syllabus we also have included clinical psychology as well, in,
Yes,
right?
yes. Neuroscience, clinical psychology, all these aspects
Perfect.
related to the therapeutic use of art and art. So
Mhm.
it's a wholesome thing.
Okay. Okay, great.
Yes. Uh, Manisha, you want to add something to it?
Just with my experience, since I've been designing workshops since 2013, one of the very favorite one has been reconnecting with the core. So when we are talking about art and psychology here, when you reconnect with your core, your true being,
Mm.
that is where you start exploring a lot of things. So this kind of a program helps the person himself or herself to actually grow grow in various aspects, not by age or number, but grow as a person who is able to deal with a lot of things in life, who is able to shine, and who is able to, because once you connect with your core, you tend to realize what potential do you have. Sometimes you just don't, you get doubts about your own potential. So this kind of a program works on your own personality as well.
Right, right. So through art, you can also know the paths, you can know the directions. And I'll just tell you a small this thing. When I started doing art therapy, right, long back in 2009, for normal students of school, where they are not stamped that they have this, disability, or they are going through this, nothing like that. Normal school children. But I thought that, why not work for them? There is something which is, making them do certain things in the school. So I picked up these students who were, troublemakers in the class. There were attendance issues, there were concentration issues, and there were, uh, quarrel issues and things like that. So I worked with them, and while working, initially I thought, frankly speaking, initially I thought, how is it going to help? Art, drawing, and telling them stories, and rolling on the floor and doing all sorts of, things which we as adults feel that they're, oh my God, they're so kiddish. And how is it going to help? But as I started getting the results, and as I started getting more and more results, I realized, oh my God, it was amazing. Like, there was a student in my class who was afraid of death, a small child of 5th grade. Otherwise, how would anybody know that this little child was scared of death? And that is why the whole manifestation of, making so much rucksack in the class, and, having all the time, on the outstanding student of the class, always standing outside the class. So these small activities, and then talking to them, and they expressing what they felt at that time, and it is a slow process. It is not like you take a medicine and you feel better. So that 9 months process really made those children who worked with me turn into different kind of children. And they had multiple different problems. Like, there was the young girl who was hallucinating. She used to feel that there is a witch who lives in her house. She always roams about with her hair loose, and a small child, a dead small child in her hand. And imagine a small child having these kind of hallucinations, how scared the child could be. So this girl was always now, ready to attack. Anybody who would come to her to talk to her, she would, like, pounce on her. And slowly this girl changed into a very soft, caring, and a very positive person. So these things I have seen happen with my own eyes, and because I was working with them, and then I started believing in it. So now I believe in it fully. It works.
It works. This reminds me of my experience when I was going to Muskan as an art therapist, and there we have students with cerebral palsy. So one boy was known for his aggression, and in the first session, he just lifted the chair and was about to throw at me. So people had to hold him because he didn't want to take the sessions. And after the 10th session, the boy was calm and doing what the directives were given, and he was doing the artworks. So this is the power of using art as therapy.
Yes.
There are certain techniques for different mental health issues which you will be learning in this program. Like, if you have to deal with anger, if you have to deal with trauma, what kind of art therapy activities, how you have to use them, what are the directives that you have to give. Directive is a very important part of being a trainer. So you have to give the directives properly.
So with these experience, can we say that this art therapy or its application is very much effective to kids or children, or is it similarly applicable and effective to adults?
It is applicable to anybody, adults, seniors. So there are people who are working with senior citizens. There are people who are working with women over 50. So you can work with anybody, and we believe that everybody has a mental state. Though we are not mentally challenged or mentally disabled or mentally disturbed, but we have a state. Everybody goes through that ups and downs. So everybody needs this kind of a tool to handle.
Okay. So I think in this pandemic situation where people are in different state of mind, I hope this kind of courses or this kind of therapies will definitely work in the society at large, and people like us who are always in some or the other stress because of the burden of work, or people from IT industry, they are always in some or the other workload. And so how effective it would be if it is applied to professionals, right, who are very much focused to their accepting the challenges and working under pressure. So what do you say about it? I'm just curious to know about it. I mean, how effective it would be as a therapy.
So Manisha, would you like to go first?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So, see, there's a lot of demand, and the demand is increasing. Especially even if I would, this people who are aspiring for this program, there is a lot of demand coming up for the workshops, corporate workshops. Now, the corporates or even the working people, they do have. I wouldn't say that it's the issues, but they accumulate these issues because of the workload, because of the work pressures, and then they are looking for avenues. How can they, find that kind of relaxation? How can they feel rejuvenated? So in art therapy, and when I have been doing these workshops, they thoroughly enjoy it. They thoroughly enjoy it, and this helps them a lot. Even if it's like once in 6 months they have this kind of a workshop, they look forward to it.
Yes.
Great.
Yes. And another thing is, sir, as you said, professionals, they might also get some directions while they're doing these kind of workshops where they find their own solutions.
Okay.
And then they make their own resolutions, and then they start working on those resolutions, and they start finding their own well-being. So it does help. It helps. And the therapeutic goals for each of these groups or each of these stratas that you talked about are different.
Correct. Correct.
Yeah.
And it's not just that for any issues. We have been using artist therapy for enhancing leadership skills, so even
Okay.
enhancing different skills. Like I conducted a workshop at a hospital, Delhi hospital, for effective communication. Because of the communication was not effective, there was a lack, and lack because if someone has given some guidance or some instructions, it is not passed on to the right person. So it sounds like, how is this possible? But there are certain art therapy techniques which we use, and it helps them come over like their own weaknesses. And this is mainly art therapy is very well known for enhancing the coping skills.
Oh.
So even with the corporate world or even with the organizations, there are many avenues where this is being used now.
Yes.
Great.
So this is when you go to a counselor, you have a verbal therapy. Here the therapy is through art.
Right.
And it is not only art, but it could also be dance, drama, storytelling, which is called expressive arts.
Okay.
So all forms of arts are utilized here to get out or get the unconscious clues or the directions that you have, maybe flawed directions or flawed reasonings.
Okay.
So
So
do you want the participants to ask questions, sir?
yes, sure. We can keep this session open for participants to ask questions. I think it will be more interactive, and it will help you to get more. I mean, your questions solved here in this session. So
Yes.
participants, if you
So
have any question, any query, you can freely ask these questions. We are here to answer your questions. As far as the college
yes,
and
and after
university is
that we will do
concerned,
the workshop.
yes. As far as college and university is concerned, what kind of courses and subjects we are offering, I'll answer. And in deep, if you wish to know about art therapy, and if you have any question, you can ask Manisha and Smita ma'am, right? So the session is open for participants to ask questions.
Yes, and after the question and answers, we can have the workshop.
Yeah. Manisha, do you have anything to share as you mentioned there? I mean, you wish to share something on PPT?
I'll be showing the presentation,
Okay.
and while then which will lead to the experiential of safe
Okay.
place.
Okay.
So that is, we'll take it after the question Q&A.
Okay. Fine.
So
Fine.
if
Fine.
any of the participants have any questions to ask, please go ahead.
Right. Please. Yes.
This is
Is
a
the
degree
diploma or
program.
degree?
It's a degree program.
It's a two years degree program. Yes. And of course, As you mentioned that, is it approved by UGC? Yes. Nowadays, UGC has given authority to establish new courses by the university or the private university. MIT Art, Design and Technology University is a private university, and they have established this particular course under the guidance of UGC, and that is why it is UGC recognized course, you can say, because UGC have asked all the universities to establish new courses which is going to help society and to the nation. So this is the initiative taken by MIT Art, Design and Technology University. As we have mentioned in our initial right in the initial stage, that this is the first program of PG level, post-graduation level, that MIT Art, Design and Technology University is offering. That is why you will not get any document or any course detail over even on UGC website, because this is the initial initiation taken by university, MIT Art, Design and Technology University. That is why it is a unique program offered by the university. So don't worry, it is UGC approved. There won't be any problem. And as you know, US and other European countries, they have association and they have council for art therapists. So similarly, we also need to have this kind of practices. As you know, the psychologist and psychotherapist, they are the one who practice. So similarly, art therapists also can practice in the society, and they also will get reputation and recognition while they will be practicing. Because I know Smita madam is already practicing in reputed hospitals like Dinanath Hospital. So there is no issue or there is no problem once you complete your course, and you can definitely practice as an art therapist.
There's a lot of demand for art therapists now. So big names like Fortis is having its own art therapy department. I was also there for some time. Uma Sanjeevani Hospital, where I worked for some time. So there is a lot of demand in the clinical setups, along with even in the school setups. It's coming up, especially with the short programs.
Yes, great.
Yes. So I have also done a module for the MBA students where they, like Manisha said, where they enhance their communication and personality skills through art, using art as a tool. So it can be adapted and it can be done in any scenario, anywhere.
Okay. Yes.
It depends upon what is it that you like to do. Some people, they don't want to work in the clinical setup, so there are many avenues where you can use it.
Right.
Yes.
So I think Saloni has a question. Saloni, would you like to ask a question?
Yes, sir. I'd like to ask a question. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for letting me ask. I'm Saloni Lodha, and I'm in my third year currently at MIT University. And my question is that I'm very glad to hear that psychology is also being integrated into this program, because I've realized that when you're looking at artworks, when you're interpreting them and appreciating them, it's very necessary to sometimes understand the psychology behind it, because the colors come from a certain place in the subconscious, or from the aura of that person when he was painting that particular painting. And when you understand these things, you can better understand the meaning of those artworks. So I was wondering whether students currently in their third year will be able to get a feel of this psychology, or if we will be able to get involved in this course in any way.
Sir.
Yeah, of course. As you know, you are aware that this is post-graduation degree course. So, and we will be definitely teaching you and giving you the subjects which are involved in the syllabus. Of course, psychology is one of the major subjects. So, yeah, it will be taken care in your post-graduation level. But for that, you need to complete your graduation first, and then only you can register for post-graduation level.
Okay, so thank you so much. Looking forward to this.
Yes, sure. Welcome.
So there is a question from Dweep ahead, a big question. Being a being an being an art theorist and history teacher, it is very much difficult for us to deal with the growing age as well as external influences of art creation of art students. It is very much important for them to grow within themselves when it comes to creation. As in UG, they have strict academic pattern to follow during assignments. So how this course will help PG students to grow within themselves as well as towards various artisans?
Okay, art students. Yes, I think you can answer this because for any university or any course, it has to be structured. So, of course, the liberty is given to the students to explore many more things during the course, and the structured course, you can say, and syllabus is structured. But I think it won't be a problem to PG level. We can explore. I hope I have understood this question in this way only. Or
Yes,
Smita madam,
yes,
would you like to highlight on?
yes.
Huh.
So while doing the strict pattern that the students have to follow during their PG, they are going to follow the strict pattern for the art therapy too. So they will be completing the. There are a lot of assignments. There is a lot of work to be done during this course. So they will be doing this as well as the. If they are taking painting or they are taking sculpture, or if they are specializing in something else, the specialization is art therapy.
Correct, correct.
Along with that, the other fine arts subjects will be there. So
Perfect.
as you are doing the specialization for other subjects, this is a specialization for art therapy. I hope I have answered Dweep. Dweep, is there any more? Yes, there is one more message.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. So he's okay with it.
Okay. I think AS, who's, I mean, he's asking, can you elaborate on demand of art therapist? Is there a possibility of regular placement in perhaps a clinical setup or anywhere? So, Manisha, can you answer this?
Yeah.
As I know, you have already explained why there is a demand and how it is in great demand nowadays. But still, you can answer this.
Definitely. So, let's ask this question. Yes. Okay. Hi. Yes. So you can, it's you can do your freelancing. You can have your own private practice. That's something you tend to explore a lot of opportunities. But if you're asking about at the organization level, yes, I would say that even the organizations, you see the NGOs and the foundations, now they are also hiring art therapists. So it's not the clinical setup, but it's going to the social work, that kind of a setup, and philanthropy, and all those areas. Now the art therapy is gaining popularity. So basically, the foundations are hiring the art therapists. That's also what we have been noticing in India, especially in the metro cities.
Right.
Yeah, perfect.
And also, like with my own experience, I've been a CSR consultant. So I've been associated with the corporates for the CSR projects. So I'll just share about my experience. And I was appointed as the CSR consultant for my project in Srinagar with JNK Health Foundation. So it was a 30-month project, and the target was training 1,000 women, which was definitely not possible because the women had PTSD, that is the post traumatic stress disorder. And that is where I brought art therapy into picture. The project was about sustainable livelihood, but how to achieve that? Now, when the people already are into trauma, the women are how, what will be the output when they are not going to be effective with the work? And if I'm imparting the training sessions, how are they going to react to it? How are they going to absorb it? What is being imparted to them? So I started my training with the art therapy sessions, and I chose a group of women and I started training them I also like conducted therapy sessions with them. Those therapy sessions helped them to become the trainers, the co-trainers, because then they were able to apply themselves. That was the first batch, and from that batch itself, there are many more batches which we were able to form, and we were able to achieve our target. So that became the baseline. Okay, if art therapy was not there, I would have not been able to achieve the number of women, the target set by the corporate. But this was with Godfrey Phillips India Limited. So you have the avenues of, you'll explore it yourself once you are into the program, and then you'll come to know, okay, I would like to do this. So it's anywhere and everywhere you can apply it.
Correct. And I think nowadays, many good school, in metro cities, they also appoint counselors. So it will be very, it will be effective if they appoint art therapist as a counselor, because anyway in school days the art is one of the favorite subject of kids. So I mean, this way also art therapist can work in schools, being a counselor.
They are like along with the counselor, there are visiting art therapists for the schools. So they
Yes,
have their certain days, okay, they go and the counselor is there. But the change what is going to come with this degree program is that the art therapist itself is going to be sufficient.
correct. Yes. Yes, we will at the end of this session, we will have a small workshop just to make you understand, and we will be having workshop quite often and quite frequently once we start our program and curriculum for 2 years, right? So such kind of workshops will be continued throughout the year. So those who are interested in short term programs or short term workshops will definitely take advantage or part of this workshop and then get benefit out of it. We'll organize that kind of workshop.
I would like to add to the previous question. We are going to have internships. So those internships will also give you the opportunities to explore where you want to work, because there are a lot of opportunities. It's just what is it that you want to choose. So the internships are really going to help you, and these internships will be guided by the faculty from US also. So
Yes,
there is a possibility just not in India, but it can be global.
correct.
Yes. Yeah. So the pattern would be the first semester and the second semester would be more of theory and a bit of practicals. And the third and the fourth semester, you will start doing your internship
Correct.
and then the project report. Yeah.
And of course, as we have majority of the faculty from US, so the college timing and classes timing would be in the evening.
Yes.
So that is an advantage to
Yes.
people who would like to join. So most
Yes.
of the theory classes, lectures will be online and will be taken care by US faculty. So evening classes won't be a problem to students, I think.
Yes.
And of
Yes.
course, during their internship, they actually need to go to the places and then do their internship and interact with the faculty members and give the review, and then prepare a project report and then submit it to the university. It will be like a routine, graduation project level internship.
Right.
Yeah.
So Ritu Dua is asking, will there be any external tie-ups, case studies? So external tie-ups after you graduate, that is what you're trying to say, Ritu?
Ritu, if you
During the course, during
Yeah,
the
during.
course. So yes, we will try for your internship, and you also will have to find out where you want to work with, and we will also have certain places where we could recommend you to go to.
Correct. Maybe some NGO, maybe some schools, maybe some orphanages or hospitals. that kind of types will be taken care by university, and you will definitely get that kind of assistance to get into internship during your course. That we will do definitely. Yes.
Is there any entrance exam, sir?
No, we have not planned for that, but of course there will be an interview round, and you will be asked to write a paper on the task given to you, and based on your answers and your and your portfolio and profile and your interview, you will get selected. Of course, it depends on the merit list. But
So,
we
yeah.
don't have entrance exam as such.
So
Specific.
instead of a paper, it would be a small essay that you will have to write on a topic.
Yes.
So based on that essay, we will know what your inclination is, and maybe a question where you have worked or helped anyone before, that kind of a thing, where we want to see what kind of help you've done earlier, whether you're really into it or not, and then of course your portfolio, your artworks.
Correct. Yes. So
By when can we get the structure of the curriculum?
yeah, it is on the website. It is on the website. The overall structure is mentioned with the credit systems, right? The detailed syllabus will be given to you once you confirm your admission, right? The detailed syllabus will not be delivered to you, or it won't be there on website. The structure of curriculum is already there on the website. You can search, you can see on www.mitsofa.edu.in. You will get the structure of syllabus and the credit.
So I will just type it in the chat box.
Yes, please.
MIT
sofa.edu.in.
MITsofa.edu.in.
Yes, correct.
Yes. Right. Any more questions, or should we move to the workshop?
Yes. Manisha, you can share your screen if you want. Then
Yeah, definitely.
I think Isha has, just a minute. Isha has raised hand. If you have any questions.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, ma'am. I had a question that if we attend this course and after doing this course, will we be eligible to work as an art therapist if you wish to work abroad in any health council centers?
Yes, Manisha, please answer.
Yes, you will be eligible.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, but you will have to register first. You will have to apply for registration, and then the whole process you will have to follow before you start practicing. Yeah.
So if be it states or be it India, you have to apply for the art therapy registration. So you will have to apply for the registration, and then you'll be able to practice. So ATR is important.
Thank you.
And we'll guide you through that.
Yes, I think.
Yeah. Any other
Manisha.
question? Manisha, otherwise you can, as sir said, you
share.
can begin. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's already 4:50 and 2020, so we are left with 2020. No. Okay. So are you able to see the screen?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Great. So we have been discussing about art therapy. So this program, what I feel, this is using art as therapy with a holistic approach, because we have included certain benefits of art and even the spiritual benefits of art in this program. So now the difference between art and art therapy, we did speak in brief. The main difference is the focus is on the end product, and art therapy, the focus is on the process. And the directives are a very important part. So directives are probably as per the protocol of the technique used and the objective which we have underlined. So, and the art therapists, also another very important part is the observation. So when you are creating an artwork in general, there's no one to observe you. But here, when you are creating an artwork, The art therapist observes the process, the emotions you are going through while art making. That is where the psychology part is very important. Then again, the art therapy, another important, very important part is the selection of the art medium. An art therapist is very careful with the selection of the art medium in accordance with the client's need. Say, for example, the person has anger issues. So we won't tell him like, okay, you make a collage because there is a use of scissors in that. Rather, the clay is a very effective art medium to be used by the people who are facing anger issues. Then comes using artist therapy for healing, self-discovery, and self-growth. Here, I think he asked the question, and also what he meant was that he was finding certain blocks in his artwork or whatever he was creating. I think so. And so here, using artist therapy for healing, self-discovery, and self-growth, it helps with your self-discovery, self-growth. So the focus, when it is on the process and not the end product, it can be as simple as scribbling, doodling. While creating artwork, the person is aware of his or her emotions. It helps one with self-growth, healing, self-discovery, and personal development. Art therapy is used for enhancing coping skills, enhancing cognitive functions for the physical, emotional, and mental well-being of the clients. So I'll just say about the process in brief very quickly. So normally my mentor Sangeeta Prasad, who's also going to be the faculty, is going to address this in detail when you go in for the program. So art therapy process, we normally use the term RAIN. R stands for recognizing. So recognize what's going on through the client's artwork. Allow for the feelings to come up in a safe way. It could be feelings of shame, guilt, anger, and the person is given a chance to express it on the paper. I investigate. It helps the client to find and understand about what those feelings are and talk about it. So it's a non-verbal therapy where you are going in with the process, you have asked the client to create the artwork, and then the artwork is done. So half the work is done in the way like the client has already expressed the emotions on the piece of paper or canvas board, whatever art medium has been selected for that particular person. And then you would gently ask them if they want to talk about it, if they want to share about it. That is how the therapy is continued. And not identify and nurture. So we have to motivate the client not to label themselves, because when they are unleashing their emotions, those emotions could be negative or the emotions could be of guilt. So sometimes they start blaming themselves. It is basically to help the client to be kind to their own self. It's okay and they learn from it. That is the approach which you have to adapt to. So when you get the training of being an art therapist, you automatically develop that kind of approach. The approach has to be very gentle, and so that the client is able to approach you. It goes both ways, and they are comfortable doing that. So today we are going to experience the safe place. Now, what is the safe place activity? Basically, it is exploring your inner self, finding your comfort zone and your strengths. Safe place is something which makes you feel safe and comforted. I used this technique during my project for my project, which was aimed at sustainable livelihood for Kashmiri women with PTSD. I used this technique a lot with those women. The objective was to relieve individuals from their anxiety and explore their inner self, find their comfort zone and strengths. So basically, this technique is used with the trauma patients and it works as healing for them. I have, in my experience, also used this technique with the victims of human trafficking. So this activity helps to make safety tangible to us. It helps us explore how do we feel safe. It's a way of supporting people to understand that they do have resources inside them and they can tap whenever they want. For this technique, my directives were given in the form of visualization. Visualization acts as a catalyst for awareness. I use visualization as directive and will be using today with you people also. So visualization, like you might say, like, okay, it's a kind of meditation, but as I said, directives is a very important part. So visualization is framed according to the directives. So in the visualization, you are getting the directives and then you will be doing this activity. So just in short, like I planned this session, I conducted 20 sessions over 4 months initially when I was training the first batch. And this was the sixth session. Methodology used was art. This is how we design the session. So I had 5 girls who were undergoing therapy. Like the session objective was to relieve individuals from their anxiety and explore their inner self, find their comfort zone and strength. And I had set a goal for each client. Like the client one who had lost her husband during the attacks, militant attacks, and she was standing there when her husband was, had to face the gunshot. So she had a lot of trauma. So for client one, the goal, for this activity was to deal with the trauma related to the loss of her husband and feel secured. For client two, it was basically to have a sense of commitment in her life with positivity. For client three, it was overcome the feeling of loss of faith. So this way, for all the 5 clients, I had set up different goals and I chose this activity because basically they all had PTSD. So this is one of the artwork created by one of the girls there. And if you can see, when I asked her, what is your safe place? I gave the directives, took them through the visualization. And then this was the outcome. This was the artwork which was created. If you can see, just observe it. It's like the womb. It's like the womb. For her, the safe place was the womb. Maybe she was relating to, like, she felt the most safe when she was with her mother. She was in the womb of her mother. So I asked them to use the dry material because with the dry material is the colors like the pencil colors, crayons. These are called the dry material. The wet material is the paints and other, like you can use different kinds of paints. There are many varieties and many choices which you will be learning when you're going in for the program. So here they use the dry material because more detailing can be done with the dry material. So now we'll go through the experience, and for that I would request you to close your eyes and be relaxed because as I mentioned, I'm going to give the directives in the form of a visualization. Close your eyes and be with the experience. Take a deep breath. Exhale. Inhale peace, love, and joy. Exhale all the stress. Inhale the wave of faith. Exhale all the insecurity. Recollect the moments when you were extremely happy. You felt safe and taken care of. These moments could be related to a specific place, things in your life that gave you comfort, a feeling of security. This safe place could be anything and related to any aspect of your life. A place, an environment, a thing which lets you be who you are, wish to be. A place which is so soothing. It may be the one that you already know, or it may be the one you can create in your imagination. Visualize and describe that place to yourself. The images, the colors, the sounds, or the silence there, the whole feel of it. Sense the whole feel of that safety within you. You are harnessing your mind's power to create an inner sense of peace, safety, and relaxation. You can describe that safe place with a phrase or a title you wish to give it. Gently open your eyes and depict, draw that safe place on paper. Whatever paper, pencil, any colors you have with you, you start drawing it on that piece of paper. It can be any image, it can be any experience, it can be any feeling. Whatever image you got in your visualization, just put it on paper. It is just your expression. This expression doesn't need a form, it can be formless. If there is a form, just put it on paper, draw it on paper. Maybe another 2 to 3 minutes. I hope all of you have made that safe place. Does anyone need more time? I think we are done. All of you have done?
Yes, yes.
I know it takes you into that meditative zone. At times it happens. See, for this person, the safe place was the womb. So, and she can go back to this artwork anytime she feels like there's a lost feeling. Yes, I'm feeling lost. So, she used to like recollect this artwork of hers because this safe place is now what she has explored, and this gives her a sense of comfort. So this is what the idea of creating a safe place is. And especially it works wonders with the trauma patients because they need something to hold on to when even with these women in Kashmir, they used to get the nightmares, and after doing this activity they got something to hold on to. So okay, at the night when they are feeling they're having a lot of anxiety, they are feeling that sense of fear and the trauma of loss, which they are not able to overcome. It's not easy to overcome the trauma of loss. That is the time they would recollect their safe place and feel better. So now the difference between art and art therapy is like when you have done this, you've created the safe place, you can make it beautiful later on. There is no like, it's not that you don't have to, you can make it beautiful later on, but you have experienced the therapeutic effect while creating this piece of art. Later on in the sense, the similar piece, but this piece stays as it is with you as an art therapy experience. So any questions related to this activity, this technique? I'll stop sharing the screen now. Any questions related to this technique or activity?
I would like to just share that it took me to a very, very beautiful place which I uh, had gone when I was very small. And now I realize that how safe I felt when I was in that place. It was a place in Nainital with a small pond with a goldfish in it, with clouds that had come down. And I do not know how I was left alone, but I was roaming about in the garden all alone. And still I felt so calm, safe uh, with those blue mountains and the clouds almost touching the ground and that goldfish.
Wow.
Yeah, it took me there, took me
Mm.
back so many years back. Yeah, thank you so much for that.
My pleasure. So, would you like to show your artwork, what you created? It's okay. It's no, but only.
I will. I can. It's just a rough pen drawing, so I don't know if that can be seen properly.
Yes, yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Expressing a lot. Yeah.
Similarly, I would like to share my artwork as well as my experience. Can I?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Please. Love to see.
So this is the place. Feel very calm and quiet, and I feel very comfortable over there. This is the place. It's my farm, you can say, and this is on the hill. There is a temple, and this is very evident, or this is very clearly seen from my farm when I sit just besides this huge tree, and there is a well, and this entirely is my farm, is my field. And I feel very calm and comfortable when I look at this temple. This is the place.
Very nice expression.
And I personally don't feel comfortable when I'm alone. I I am always with a company, so that I will always be.
There's a lot more expression in your artwork. Like from a therapist point of view, there's a lot more which can be, we can, express it. We can let you know.
Okay, sure. Thank you very much.
Yes.
So anyone else would like to share their experience? Thank you, Darpana. Okay, so now we can move on with the other art therapy experience, Smita.
So I will take you through a very quick experience that I would like to go all of you through. So let me share my screen. Yes, so I am going to, can you see the screen?
Yes.
Yes. So I'm going to talk about the Enzo circles. So Enzo circles are the circles which are the second symbol in the Zen Buddhism, which means a circle. It symbolizes a lot of insight, the strength, the togetherness, the elegance of the universe. And it is done by the black ink, the Sumi ink, which means Sumi also means monochrome, which is one color. Usually the Japanese paintings are done in black and white, so the Sumi ink. So what will the Enzo circle do? So Enzo circle is a circle where you take one breath, and when you take in the breath, when you inhale, and when you start exhaling, you start drawing the circle, and you stop when you start inhaling again. So when you before you start doing that, what you have to do is you have to dip your brush into the color. If you don't have color, you can also have turmeric or chili powder or anything that gives color, and dip your brush in the color and hold it like this. Don't hold the brush like this. Hold your brush like this and hold your paper parallel to the brush, and then make the circle like this. What it does is, it is a hand-drawn circle. It is a one-stroke painting. You can't redo it again. You can't, make any corrections in it. It's just a circle with a line. There is nothing filled inside. You don't have to fill anything there. And if you don't have a pen or a pencil or anything, you can make the circle in the air also. You can make it in the dirt also. Like you can make it on the floor. You can do it anything. What does it do? What does it require? When you're doing the Enzo circle, full concentration. When you're doing that circle, there need not be any interruptions, like the phones and the doorbells and everything needs to be stopped. And instead, you should only concentrate on finishing the circle. It is okay if you don't finish it. It is okay if it is half finished. It is okay if it is not fully colored. Remember, the choice is yours. You can choose whatever you have to do, and you can do 1 circle, 2 circle, or 3 circles at a time. And how is it going to help you? So it helps you to concentrate on your breath at that moment. You become conscious of that moment, that present moment, what is happening to you. You leave aside everything that is around you. So you leave all the baggages that are around you and just concentrate on that present moment, that golden, beautiful moment, and breathe and concentrate on your mindful breathing, taking in the breath and breathing out. That is where you are going to concentrate. So do you want to begin?
Yes, we can.
Are you ready with your brushes and your paints or your pens or your just, you can also do a action. You can also take a nice swirl on the floor. You can do whatever. So when you're ready, you just have to take a deep breath. Take a deep breath in. And when you start breathing out, start drawing the circle. Hold your brush very loose and horizontal and start drawing the circle. Lift your brush, do not overdo it, do not retouch it, do not try to complete the circle. Just complete the breath and do it. So breathe in, start the circle, stop when you start breathing on. Breathe in, draw another circle if you want. Have you all finished? Have you finished?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Okay. So what happened when you were drawing the Enzo? Enzo, it is said Enzo, but it is spelled as Nenso. It's not Z. So this is a meditative practice which allows you to let go of your mind and let your body do the work. Your body is creating while your mind is free. And with a single brush stroke, you are not allowed to do any modifications. So there is no corrections. So you understand the importance of that present movement, that present moment and movement, both. Movement, you stop, and the moment that is happening at that moment. And it is a symbol of freedom. It is a symbol of concentration. It is a symbol of attention to that present moment. And when you do that, and when you do these circles, you do get insights looking at your circles. And you will only, understand it once you experience it. Now that you've done your circles, let's see your circles and let's talk about your circles. I'll just give you a few examples, just show you a few examples how they work and how the circle holds things for you. And it does hold things for you, and you just have to look at it, you just have to talk to it, you just have to see what it is trying to tell you. Because the circle is not the beginning or the end of anything. because it is also a circle, you begin from one place and you again come to the same place and you end it. So it is again a symbol of connectedness.
Correct.
Yeah, it is symbol of togetherness. It could be a symbol of emptiness. It could be a symbol of fullness. You just look at it the way you feel at that moment. So the interpretation is, even if the full circle, if you've drawn a full circle, very good. It represents perfection, totality, and wholeness. But if your circle is incomplete, doesn't matter. It's still beautiful. It means that there's more room for movement, there is more room for development, and there is also imperfection, beauty of imperfection. Why do you think who was that? Maushmi Chatterjee was liked so much because she had a imperfection thing in her face. She had a double teeth here. So something that is imperfect, people like it better and it is more beautiful. So a few case studies. So the objective of the sessions was the circle of life and the self, looking at my own life and being aware of where I am in that life, in that point, in that present moment. Where am I? What is it that is asking me to, what is that circle telling me to do, or circle showing me of my that present moment. Now all these images I have taken a permission from the clients, and they have permitted me to share their images with you. So this is a Enzo circle done by a person. This is done by turmeric because she did not have any color at her place. So when she dipped the brush in the turmeric and did the circle is a full circle. She felt very calm and got a feeling of abundance. But then later said that she also felt entangled. She felt overlapped because every time she did the circles came out to be the same. There was a slight, turn on the left top side, and then it used to come and meet again at the left mid point. She felt that she also felt a little overlap, and she feels that her destiny overlaps her. And then when I just asked whether she wants to talk more about it, and then she talked about two important persons in her life where those two persons are overlapping in her life all the time. So this is what just came out when she drew the circle. So you just have to be concentrating while you're doing this, and yes, you will get some answers. You will get something that indicates you to take some action or to think about something. Now this is a circle where the person need not have enough paper. That person had only one sheet, and I had asked them to draw 2 or 3 circles. So now what he did was, he drew, instead of drawing one circle here and the other circle somewhere else, he drew one circle outside and the other circle inside. So this also shows how adaptive he is and how innovative he is. And the circle, if you look at the circle, it begins from the left and then goes, or maybe begins from the right and goes to the left. So when it begins, it has a lot of force, and when it ends, it almost ends before it is half. Before the circle, the line goes to the half, the color ends, and the beginning is quite strong. So I asked him if he had a very aggressive working style, and the person said yes, he has a very aggressive working style, but not an aggressive person. The working style is aggressive. This is a circle drawn by a person who drew 5 circles, and all the circles were the same. She could not complete a circle. All the circles were spiral circles. So she said that yes, so when asked, she said yes, she agrees that she was open to suggestions. She can take things very easily and let go things very easily. She does not expect much from others and does not like to be bonded. That shows because there is it's an open circle. And when asked if she had any problem with her gut, with her tummy, with her stomach, she said yes, she always gets this nausea. And she said that she was getting a nauseating feeling when she was doing this. So when asked, she said yes, she has a medical issue with her gut, and and then later when we took a feedback, she said that yes, she's been practicing Enzo and she feels better, though her problem has not gone away, but she feels full of energy. Then this is a circle. Every time the circle was only this much. The circle could not be completed. It is neither right nor wrong, nor good, not bad. Anything can happen with your circles. So here the insight that the person got was that she sees what the interpreter has to say is she has lots of expectation from herself. She has an image of herself and feels very demotivated when she is not able to live up to that image, and she feels incomplete. So she's put a limit to herself. She has a self-limiting belief that she has, that she should be such and such person, and that is why, the circle says all that. But what does she look at the circle from? I said, look at it from a very positive way and see what it is trying to tell you. So she sees that the Enzo has a lot of room for her to let go her expectations, feels that she can be free of her self-limiting belief and of what she wants to be, and must start believing in herself. So it is okay not to be perfect. That was her takeaway from the session. Now the person started drawing the circle. This person is a artist herself. So she said, draw, like circle draw करने में कितना time लगता है? And she started drawing the circle and she realized that she couldn't complete it. So she did 4 circles, and then the third circle, she drew the circle a little smaller. And then the 4th circle was also complete. So what she said was that she realized that she's taking too many tasks at a time. She cannot complete the tasks because her tasks are not broken down into smaller pieces. So let me make my circle smaller. Maybe I'll be able to complete the task. And she completed the task this way. So she found her own solution in her own life, that she was swarmed by too much work and she took up too much work which she couldn't complete. So now she decided that let me segregate the work and let me start finishing one by one. Let me break it down into smaller pieces and let me do the work. This is a circle which is a very different circle, a complete circle, a slight gap in the first circle. The second circle is complete. So when asked what does that person see in that slight gap, she said that she expects more in a relationship than what she gets. She says that she also has to learn to accept things, to let go, and not all the things are going to be done in her own way, and not everything can be perfect. She is happy with what she has in right now in her life, and she is really content. She is very grateful for the things in her life with her ups and downs. Who doesn't have ups and downs in the life? Indicated in the second circle, which is a complete circle, not a perfect round, but a complete circle. And she is a very planned person and wants everything to be well thought of and well planned of. That shows in the full circle. Now, these are the different types of circles. This is a person who is very low on self-esteem and cannot finish any job that she takes up. This is a circle where done by a person who is very what do you call, very in a very turbulent kind of a state of mind right now. And she says that she cannot, how much ever she tries, she cannot come back to the same point where she begins the circle. So there she has to find her own answers, but she says that I can see that I can come in and I can go out anytime I want in whatever things I do. So here she had never realized that she can do that. She had thought that she is stuck in one situation, but now she knows that she can come in and go out anytime she wants, and it is her choice. This is a circle where this person begins some task very enthusiastically and then gets tired in halfway through, and then somehow finishes the work. but gets tired. That is what she realized. She said that I kept on doing work, never realizing that I too can get tired. So the enzos can, represent so many things. It can represent your true and innermost self. It can expose that one moment at that one time. You can, become aware of your emotions and get a very valuable insight. And it is a representation of life. And the enzo, if you start practicing enzo, doing every day as a breathing exercise or a meditative exercise, it can be beautiful. You can start your day on a very beautiful note, and you can have variety of enzos with a lot of fluidity in it. So if you have any questions, the takeaways are resilience, decluttering your life, self-improvement. You can also use this to train your mind, and it can be very personal to every person that the enzo is drawn by. And enzo is the manifestation of the artist of at that moment. Like today my enzo could be different, tomorrow my enzo could be different, and the artist at that moment of creation and acceptance of our innermost self. It symbolizes strength and one-mindedness, and it can happen that the person is not ready to accept. The person does not accept that something like this is happening to that person, and that person is not ready to, read what the circles are telling that person, though the interpreter or the facilitator is able to see. So you just have to be ready for doing these things. That's the end of my presentation. Any questions? Or anybody wants to share their enzos?
I didn't feel like stopping when I was creating. I just wanted to create more and more.
So have you created?
Yeah, I've been doing.
So show us, please.
Of course. Can you see?
Yes. So do you have any insights you want to share?
Somehow it just took me, the flow was so much there that I lost the track of, okay, where am I? What am I doing? I was totally into it. It was just like my charcoal stick and my book and me. So it's like, a time with my core. It's the same way when I say, connecting with the core. And I must have done this after a very long time, but I thoroughly was into it and enjoyed it. I didn't want you to stop, but you stopped. That's it.
Thank you so much. So Muskan has a question. How can we learn to read our own enzo circles? Yes. Does anybody want to help her? Has anybody found out how to read your own enzos? So Muskan, the thing is that you just have to concentrate on that moment when you're doing it without any interpretations, and you will be able to see your enzos. Maybe not on the first day, maybe not on the second day, but slowly you will start to see what it is trying to tell you. When you start comparing your enzos from the first day, or maybe first circle, second circle, third circle, and you will be able to see, okay, why is this here, why is that here, has something happened to me, has some thought come to me. Start reflecting back and start talking to yourself, and you will be able to read your enzos. Maybe you can do a few enzos, and maybe we can then share the enzos and talk about your enzos. Anybody else?
I think for enzos, you need somebody to read your circles and then interpret it. I think it will be better.
Maybe initially, but when you start practicing, you can read your own enzos.
Okay.
You can do that. You just have to reflect. You just have to think and give that thought that for that moment. In that moment, what was happening to you?
Okay.
Yeah. Anybody has done any enzo, and do you want to share your enzos? I know it is 5:30 almost, 5:37. Okay. Sir, if, oh wow.
This was the initial, and then later on I did few more. I don't know whether it is visible or not. It was drawn with just a ball pen.
Right. So do you have anything to say about your Enzo, sir?
No, I can't read at this moment, but this is not something which my personality is all about. I think the circles are not complete, not well drawn.
Maybe not today. Maybe tomorrow they would be different. Yes, there is
Correct.
RK Oza who is trying to show us. Can you just get a little closer? Oza ji?
Yes, I think it's visible.
Yes. Wow, complete circles. So do you have to say anything? Round and nice circles. Yes, Oza ji? आपको कुछ बोलना है?
Just free hand and free mind.
Nice.
Free mind and free hand. Yes.
Okay.
आपके क्या विचार थे जब ये हो रहा था? ये देख के आपको क्या लग रहा है?
Actually, मैं ये feel कर रहा था कि just I have to release my breath and done this circle. So मैंने बस एक आराम से बस इसको बना लिया.
तो आपको आराम फील हो रहा है?
Yeah.
Very nice. Okay. Thank you so much, Oza ji.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, a beautiful exercise indeed. Thanks, Smita. I always found them saying a lot, though they look very quiet. Thank you, Ritu.
So
anybody else? Or else we can, like, because we've overshot the time.
Any question from student side? Participants, you have any question? Or we'll conclude the program?
Yes.
So thank you very much for giving this wonderful exercise, as well as good knowledge about art therapy and opportunities, future prospects of after the art therapy. And I'm really thankful to Manisha madam and Smita ma'am for giving this overall guidance about art therapy and opportunities afterwards. And I'm equally thankful to all my management and executive director ma'am for giving us this opportunity for introducing this new course at PG level at MIT Art Design and Technology University. I'm equally thankful to all my faculty colleagues, my team members, the technical team, Tushar, and all the students and the participants for participating in this wonderful session and giving this wonderful response to this workshop. Thank you very much.